All right, so now I'm going to get this loop around a hind leg and kind of go through the exact same deal. So just like the other way, I'm just going to drive him around me a little bit here with this loop. I'll just see if I can catch that hind leg. Oh, first try, that never happens. If it takes me more tries than that, it's never really a waste of time because he can just get extra practice with something move around underneath him, but that was pretty slick. So now I'm going to ask him if he can move off of this thing on his hind leg. And the first thing I did there was put it way up on his upper thigh, which is the easiest place for a horse to tolerate something touching him on their leg. Go on. I have to drive him a little bit back here on his flank, help him get going. Because I need to have something to stop. And just like all things that we're going to want him to know about later in life, like our legs or anything else, I want him to feel like anything can either cause movement in him or help him get settled. Right. So I'll bump on that. There, he freed up. I might drive him just a little bit more. Good. So now as that leg is going to the ground, I'll try to get it where you can see it. I'm just going to start to slow that leg down with my rope. Very good. And when he stops it, I'll just kind of let that settle. So, and then once it's still, I might kind of just pick up on this a little bit and see if he can do that and just get his weight off that leg. Just kind of isolate that I'm talking to that leg in particular. And if the other three move, no problem. I'll just hang on until he's able to stop. And there, he was able to pick that up. And from here, this is one of the only things I can do where I'm standing this close to him, where I can hang on to that leg. Because if he kicks, this upper part doesn't move very far. And so it's not going to hurt him and it's not going to jerk me back behind him where I might end up in trouble. So with that working, I'm going to drop this down a little bit lower and I'll drive him and say, can you walk around and just feel this touching your leg without it being much of a problem? He says, yeah, I remember from 2 days ago or whenever we did this. Then same deal. I'm going to start to slow that leg down. He says, okay, you can stop that leg. And then I'll just see if I put a little bit of feel in this. Can he figure out how to get his weight off of that leg? Very good. Okay, so that's going about as good as it can. So I'll shake it down to his fetlock and I'll pull it up tight. And then this is where, same deal, I'm not going to pick it up very much, but I'm going to drive him around while he's still on my rope and just let him feel that thing on his hind leg. And I want to do this on the rope first so that if he really got in trouble, I could try to help him shut down. But he says, yeah, no big deal. Now, what I'm not going to do right now is pick up that leg with this rope here. Because from here, if he were to kick out behind him, he'd take, a horse leg's length of rope through my hand in very short order. And that would feel pretty bad for me. And I would have a really hard time helping him get all the way through it. So what I'm going to do now, because we're in this little pen and he's not going to travel real far, is I'm just going to kind of loop my rope around his neck once. And it needs to be a length where he's not going to step through it, but I'm not going to tie it off or anything. I'll just kind of leave it draped. Hi. I'll get back in here behind his hip and I'll just drive him forwards, just like when we were working in here loose. Try not to let that come off. Once again, if we hadn't done our preparation, could you move a little more? Thank you. Of helping him move around here loose or with the lariat rope on him, this might be pretty difficult. Okay, so right in here, there I just put a little bit of feel in that rope. He remembers pretty dang well from the last time. But I would have done the same thing if he kept walking, whereas that foot was going to the ground, I'd just try to slow it down, and then when he got his feet settled, I'd release. It's not about picking his foot up at first. It's just helping him figure out that this feel on his leg, which should make him want to go, ugh, and accelerate and get further away from me, was able to help him stop and get settled. And there he's working his mouth. So we must have done an okay job last time. So now if I put a little bit of feel in this and say, hey, can you get your weight off of that? Beautiful. There. And when he softens that leg, I want to put it down on the toe. Because eventually he's going to be in a farrier cradle like that out behind him, and he's going to have to figure out how to shift his weight to make that possible. But it's pretty cool that the first time I did this, he maybe kicked at this rope I don't know, less than 2-3 times before he figured out how to soften to it. And that's carried really well. Okay, so I'll drive him again. I'll say, all right, go ahead and move. We'll find someplace else to get settled and pick up his foot. But that this is something that is helping him find a place to get settled, not a source of trouble. So there, I'll reach for that foot. There he squared up on his own. He said, okay, I got to get ready. I'll just wait. There, he gave to me a little bit, so I softened. There, he gave to me really well. And you can see I'm only using, my hand closed on this rope and my elbow for this. I'm not braced off across my hips like I might be on an older horse who was really strong and had really learned how to jerk its leg away. This is all the strength I need on a little guy. He's really nice and settled right there. There, he's just cocked that leg to rest it. So I'm just going to let him have a little break here. So the last thing I need to see before I start picking that up with my hand, now I might just check back in with him and say, hey, if I asked for your leg, would you be able to give it to me? He says, well, now I'm a little bit distracted, a little startled, so, but yes. I'm going to move him again just so that we kind of get his mind back. But I'll just stop him again over here, kind of out in the open. I'll say, hey, can I have that leg? There, release. No problem. Part of that might have been his stance. He just got a little bit parked out there. He didn't quite understand how to get prepared that time. That's a better stance. So I'll pick that leg up. And what I want to see is, can I approach him from back here to go for that leg? Because if he was a really touchy horse, I might start coming up in here by his shoulder and I'd work my way over here and I might start touching him here and really go in with ultimate caution, just try to get him to respond with this leg. But because he's done so well with my rope and everything else we've done together, I'll try to move him to a spot where you can see again. So how about right here? Good. There, he changed eyes behind with me holding onto his foot. That's a pretty good show of confidence. Okay, so when I can see his eye again, and I've got his foot, I'm just going to approach him here from behind, but with my hand out, so he knows I'm coming and that I intend to pet him. And notice his leg was able to stay cocked. He didn't take it away. If he had took his leg away like he was worried about me coming up behind him or thinking he needed to leave, well, I could have helped him stay with this rope. But this might be the first time in a horse's life where we kind of say like this, where he said, I think I'm going to take a couple steps. And I said, well, what if you stayed and let me have this leg? This would be awfully hard to do if I was holding onto it with my hand. Good boy. If I start to work my way down his leg here, I'm still holding my rope with my other hand. And if he were to take this leg forward to get ready to kick, I'd feel it moving. Okay, so now here, I'm going to put a little feel in my hand and pick it up with the rope. And they're going to kind of go together. Very good. And I'll guide his foot to the ground with my hand. Okay, I'll give him a little bit of space. I'll probably do that again. Very good boy. Hi. So I'm going to walk up in here with a little bit of purpose and reach for that foot. And I like that he didn't feel like he had to leave when I walked up behind him like that. Nice and soft. So same thing again. I'll pet him on the hip, work my way down his leg. I'm going to pick it up with the rope and put it in my hand. That was pretty soft. So I'm just going to take the opportunity to take that rope off. I might rub him on the ankle where that rope just was in case that kind of matted his hair down. We'll fluff that up. I'll put his foot down really soft. So while he's still standing here so nice, I might just take the opportunity, run my hand all the way down his hind leg. Just pick that up again. I'll come in here and pick it out. Put it back down. Very good. So you can see, I mean, with just a few minutes of preparation on each foot, he might be set up for a whole lifetime of not only just ease of having his feet handled by people, but rewriting and repatterning that natural impulse to pull and to fight when they feel something grab them by the ankle, to have that feel change to oh, if something grabs me by the ankle, I could soften and it'll either let me go or it just won't hurt me. So that if he ever gets caught up in some wire, or like this happened with Kiara the other day, that she was riding along outside the pasture and there was a piece of electric fence, like poly ribbon, that we realized we hadn't cleaned up, and Dakota's hind feet got caught up in it, and luckily he just froze and she was able to get off and help him out, and it wasn't the wreck that it could have been if he'd never been exposed to something touching him around his ankles. So for this guy, you know, we'll handle him like that again, maybe a couple more times, where I'll get him in this pen and check out how well he can handle being touched on his hind legs and stopped by a hind foot. But oh, there, that was awesome. He shifted his weight and got off that foot when he felt me reaching for it. So this other one I've only handled once, and it carried through that well. So I just knocked on his foot a little bit with my hoof pick. And he said, that didn't bother me at all. I might just come back to that right hind one more time. Very good. Yeah, he got his weight off of that one. Just right. And I'm kind of letting this hoof pick touch him on his skin a little bit. And it won't be too long. You know, here I'm putting that foot out on my knee, just like a farrier is going to do. That didn't bother him one bit. All right, I think that'll do it.